Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
And
therapist.
together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Well, once again, in our opinion, Bob.
So we're going to show you how to pick a walker. This could be for you or it could be for a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really important because if you choose the wrong one, it could cause falls,
Right.
or they may just not use it.
Right. Exactly. And takes away the benefits of it, Bob.
Right. So the first question, we're going to go 6 questions that you need to answer.
Right.
And the first question is the most important, Brad. And that's, does the person have to transport the chair? In other words, do they have to take the chair, the walker, I'm sorry, and put it in their car, take
Right.
it someplace?
Get up and down stairs.
Right.
That's where you can really have some dangerous falls.
So we're running into this with my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So the ideal walker for her would have been that one right there.
Because it has
the platform attachments,
Yeah.
but it also has the seat. She could sit down if she gets tired,
oh yeah.
because she does get tired.
Sure.
So, but she could never lift this into her car.
It's made so it folds up.
It folds up really nice,
But it's kind
it's
of heavy and
bulky.
yeah, and when you try to fit it through a car door or in the trunk, yeah, you've got to be
Yeah, it's got
real-
huge wheels. So we'll talk about the benefit of that later. But
yeah.
so we chose this walker for her. It's an aluminum walker, but it's fairly lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she'll be able to lift this. You know, it folds up by pushing the buttons here,
Yes.
and it's got decent wheels. We'll talk why that's helpful. But that's the first question you need to ask.
Yep.
So the lightest one would be a aluminum one without any platform attachments.
Mhm. These are very common,
Yes.
particularly in hospitals and nursing homes. But we'll talk about more about the four-wheeled one, which is also very common. But
Right.
yeah,
Well,
this is the lightest.
Let's talk about the second question,
Okay,
Brad.
then.
Does the person need to sit down at times? Now, this could be due to fatigue.
Mhm.
It could be due to pain, a lot of spinal stenosis.
Right, maybe knee pain, and that's why they need a walker.
Right. So we really like the four-wheel walker. The other thing I like about them is you can get a walker that actually converts into a wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
We had one on our program,
Right.
and my mom has that one.
Mhm.
So she'll walk with a family member. She gets tired. We sit her down. We swing. It's got some leg rests on it,
Mhm.
and we can just start pushing her like
Sure,
a wheelchair.
Right.
It works great.
And my parents didn't like it.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
No, so it is an individual thing. You need to try because it's kind of a.
Why
spin
didn't they like it?
I don't remember. Yeah, you know how some people are.
But again, in that case, we always, have a family member with my mom,
Right.
and somebody will always transport it for her. They also they tend to be a little bit wider, wouldn't you say, Brad?
What, the ones you sit down in?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You have to the width. Like this is a very common style.
Right.
You know, it's got the seat and whatnot. But the width, you do have to make sure. Like this one, my mother would not be a good candidate for. She's wider, and when she turns around, she wouldn't fit through there very well, and it's a problem. So,
Well, like you said, if it's really too narrow, she'll try sitting down. It might scoot away from her.
Mhm, yeah,
And plus, she might have trouble getting out of the chair.
exactly.
So,
Yep. So we got the next walker up, which was 3 inches wider, much better. She's happier, and it works all great. These do almost always they fold up too, but this is not easy to get into a car.
No,
It's
it isn't.
okay for me, but for an elderly person, it's a little awkward, and it's a good time for falling.
Yeah, I want to show one thing as far as going upstairs, Brad. You want to grab the aluminum one here?
Yes.
Now, walkers in general are not great to take upstairs.
No. No.
Sometimes you do fold them up like this, and you can, if you're fairly able body, you can grab onto a rail and kind of use this. Oh, yeah, it's not the greatest.
And it's awkward.
Yeah.
You can maybe turn it sideways and get it on the steps. I remember years ago we'd put them this way. It's I don't like to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Usually what we recommend is actually you keep a walker up on the second floor
Yep.
permanently.
Yes.
And then you put rails going on up
Yeah.
so they can hang on to the rails to get to the top. The walker's there.
Right. So they got a walker upstairs and
Yeah,
a walker down.
downstairs.
and
I
it's
know
safe.
people that got walkers for outdoors, walkers for the car, walkers for downstairs, walkers for upstairs.
Yep. And they are walking.
Walking. Okay. Does the person need to get into narrow spaces? There's a lot of narrow hallways or
yes.
narrow bathrooms. And again, when you get some of these wheeled walkers, they can be a bit wide
Right.
because you need to be able to sit down on them.
Yeah.
So
The neat thing about these is you can put the wheels on the inside, which makes about 2 inches narrower.
yes.
And it's real easy to do. You don't try and take a bolt or
Yeah.
a wrench.
Show what you mean by that, Brad.
Just take them like this and put it on the other side and tell the water. Now it's gonna. The nice thing about being wider, it's a little more stable, but it's not a big deal. A lot of times I just put them on the inside for people so that it protects the woodwork in the house too.
Exactly. So let's go to the next question. Will the person use it outside? Now, if you're going to use it outside, one thing, if you do have wheels, you want to have larger wheels if possible, because some of these walkers come with very small plastic wheels
Right.
and they just do not roll on sidewalks or dirt or sand very well.
And even now, like these used to be big compared to years ago, but now these are just the average. And we
Right.
got big ones like, can you go over here, Mike, and point down here? Look at the wheels on this. Is a really nice outdoor walker. It's got some nice. Big
Yes,
wheels.
that one is made for outdoors, and those are actually pneumatic. I mean,
Pump
they
'em up.
have air,
Mhm.
and which means they're a little bit better shock absorbers,
Right.
I think.
Yeah, that one is
So-
probably the best for walking outside.
Now, you may not need wheels at all. We'll talk about that. In many cases, we prefer wheels
Mhm.
because it helps with their balance. But the next question: we'll handle that question right now. Will the person need wheels or gliders or tennis balls?
Mhm.
So, a lot of people, if they have to lift the walker up, they lose their balance while they're doing so.
Right.
So we prefer that they actually do use wheels in most cases.
Right. Yeah. But
Now, the thing is, a lot of people think the wheels are going to run away from them.
whoa.
But when they got just two wheels on there and they have gliders on the back or tennis balls,
Mhm.
they don't. They're pretty stable.
Right. Yeah. Because it's amazing. I don't know if I've ever had a person
No, I never had.
have a walker get away. Well, it's not with the 4-wheeled walker. That's a different story. But with these, and then I don't know. People may not say, "What are you talking about? Tennis balls?"
Right.
And the difference is that's the back two. If you have tennis balls, it makes it quiet on floors,
Right.
and it avoids scratching the floor,
Exactly.
which is a big deal.
It's a big deal because you could get plastic gliders and they work well probably once, and then you take it outside
Yeah,
and scratch them up. You take them inside and they'll scratch your floor.
because little pieces of dirt can get
Right.
embedded. So we're talking about they're little plastic we don't have in
They
here.
look like little skis.
Yep, they're about 2 or 3 inches long. They're typically white, and you can take this off and put it in there with this little screwdriver. They work good for if you're going to be outside on concrete and you don't have a 4-wheeled walker. But then if you bring it inside, like Bob
Right.
says, then it's going to be a scratch problem.
Now we want to warn you also about the tennis balls. Now a lot of people just take a tennis ball and they'll cut it
Yeah.
themselves. I had 2 employees that cut their finger trying to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not easy to cut.
Right.
You can actually buy pre-cut ones. I bought these were pre-cut.
Look at that.
So
This is one that we cut, and there's you really get someone with strong hands, and that's handy and used to using their utility
and then
knife.
show how you put it on, Brad.
Yep. So
Like Pac-Man.
Yes,
I used to
absolutely.
cut them, Brad, and then I'd grab them like that and split them apart a little
oh, you're
further.
strong.
Yeah.
Strong like bull.
So anyway, be very careful on that. So what's the final question, Brad?
I don't know.
Does the person need platform attachments?
Mhm.
This is not that common
No.
that you need these. If you have arthritic hands
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to put pressure on your hands,
Here, yep.
yeah, this works well because it puts them on your forearm.
Yep.
And if you have someone who I probably shouldn't mention, but again, family member, she's really bent over. So we want to get her up.
Yep.
And this is going to help get her up standing straight.
Right.
And she can take weight on her forearms for doing so.
People may think, well, you just raise these up, and what happens if you just raise this up and instead of bringing the person up, usually they just bend their elbows.
Right,
down,
exactly.
and it doesn't change the
Exactly.
posture.
Now, this one came with platforms, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And this one was designed to have these platforms on there. You can take them off. But if this one was not designed to have platforms, so you have to buy the full platform. It's a pain.
Yeah, they
butt.
connect on here and it works. But
If you know you're going to need platforms, buy one that already has them attached.
Right.
Because they're made for it.
Right. And I've had some people that have a platform on one side and not
Oh,
the
yes,
other.
yes, good
If
point.
they have a broken wrist or one hand is
not functional,
right,
like a stroke.
Yeah, exactly. Then you'll need that because it's nice to grab the other side if that's a good strong hand.
Well, we hope we covered most of the basics of how to choose a walker.
Right.
Because again,
or maybe we got them thoroughly confused.
we
There's
do that too.
quite a number of but yeah, it's something you need to be aware of. Mike, do you have any input? Mike is a
doesn't know
physical
anything.
therapist.
That's right.
He's got years of experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
A person's balance will affect which one they want. And we talked a little bit about that. Again, making sure you have front wheels. And if you have four wheels, it's going to glide a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Right,
again, you
right.
got to, it could get away from you. These two have brakes, by the way.
Oh,
We
yes.
forgot to mention that.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is now that we got people bored out of their skull,
Yeah.
their turn. But yeah, the brakes are handy. But you do need to.
But
The
you can
brakes
lock
will
'em,
loosen
too.
up after a while, and they
Sure.
don't work. So you have to adjust them. We do have a video
We
on.
have a video on that.
Maybe we
Brad
should do another one.
Yeah, Brad did a great job on that.
Yeah, that's an old one. It's about
yeah.
10 years old. I
Yes.
probably forgot half of
Yeah,
it.
how to tighten the brakes. So,
All right.
all right, needs a brake job.
Be careful.